Yes, please, the registrar, can you call the witness?
Welcome back, Mr. Witness. Please sit down.
Thank you.
As a matter of routine, may I remind you that you are still on the oath. Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
over to you for continuation of our proceedings. Thank you.
Welcome back, Mr. TAMBURA.
Thank you.
Council, can we proceed, please?
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Mr. TAMBURA, it is good to have you again.
Thank you.
I think we have exhausted the reviews for KMC.
Yes, Council.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. TAMBURA. Good afternoon, Chairperson, Commissioners. Mr. TAMBURA, I just wanted to ask a few questions in regard to KMC before my colleague moves on to another council.
Okay.
So he had spoken about, I believe, non-compliant practices found in the compliance review for the year ended 31st December 2019.
Okay, Council.
This is on page 10. The non-compliant practice that was highlighted in the report was that, I think it said, while the review team was informed of the establishment of the contracts committee, there was no evidence that the accounting officer appointed the contracts committee members formally and in writing.
Okay.
Right? And the management response, before that, the recommendation was that the accounting officer should formally appoint the members of the contracts committee with clear terms of reference in line with the GPPA Act and ensure the minutes of all committee meetings are prepared appropriately. And the management response was that according to the Local Government Act 2002, the mayor is mandated to establish all the standing committees, of which the contract committee is among, through a resolution from the General Council, and the members were all appointed officially.
Okay.
Now, my observation is your report has stated that it is the accounting officer that appoints the contracts committee members.
Yes.
And the report has stated that this is in accordance with the Procurement Act.
Yes.
But I am unable to find where in the Act it actually states that it is the accounting officer who appoints the members of the contracts committee.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you can avail us of the section that the report is relying on. Just to be clear, the accounting officer is the CEO.
Yes, the CEO.
Okay.
Yes, the CEO is the head of the administrative head of the council, and the expectation and the best practice is he appoints all other committees.
No. So you're saying best practice, but the report is saying that it is in accordance with the Act.
Yes.
Which is why I am saying that I haven't seen this provision in the Act, and I would be grateful if you could guide us to what provision it is. Because I have seen, so just,
can you refer us to the page?
So this is on page 10 of the report.
2019?
Yes.
Okay.
And it is the 2014 Act that would apply to this particular issue because it was before the new Act came into force. Just to
The-
assist,
the-
Section
the-
47 provides for contracts committees.
Yes.
Yes.
Did the report make reference to any section of the Act?
No, it says that while the review team was informed of the establishment of the contracts committee,
Yes.
there was no evidence that the accounting officer appointed the contracts committee members formally and in writing.
Yes.
And under the recommendations, it says the accounting officer should formally appoint the members of the contracts committee with clear terms of reference in line with the GPPA Act and ensure that all minutes of all committee meetings are prepared appropriately.
Okay.
And now they're saying that it is the mayor that is mandated to establish all the standing committees of which the contracts committee is one of them.
Yes, okay.
So I think the issue here is that you're saying that they're non-compliant because it is not the CEO who appointed the contracts committee. They're saying, well, at least I'm assuming that they're saying that is not the case because it is the mayor that is supposed to appoint the members of the contracts committee.
Yes.
Which is why I'm asking for the provision, the legal provision that backs the issue of non-compliance.
Yes, I still want to confine myself to the report. First, the non-compliance issue was highlighted, but no reference to a specific section. Then coming to the recommendation, a reference was made to the Act. Then may I refer the Commission to the function of the accounting officer, just to confirm that in the Act?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm waiting for the witness. Yes.
Sorry?
She was asking what's happening, and I said I'm waiting for the witness.
Okay. I make reference. Okay, now, okay, let's look at composition of the contracts committee. Section 48.
Yes.
So,
Of the 2014
yes.
2014 Act.
Yes.
She has-
Section 48, subsection. The appointment of other members of the appointment of other members and staff of the Contracts Committee shall be in accordance with guidelines established by the authority.
And the guidelines that the authority has established are contained in the regulations? Or are they contained somewhere else?
In the current regulations.
No.
That
The current regulations are not in effect, and they were not in effect at that time.
that time, yes.
At the time the report was made.
Yes.
So it would be the 2019 regulations that were enforced at that time.
Yes.
And so those are it would be the guidelines that are contained in that regulation.
Yes.
Okay, so that regulation, at Regulation 18, Appointment of Contracts Committee, it says the procuring organization shall appoint members of the Contracts Committee in accordance with the instructions of the authority.
Yes.
So there's no other instructions.
We have instructions.
Okay.
Yes, we have instruction, but that is not validated.
So I think, maybe if I explain what my concern is. So my concern is that we're all looking at the actions of the council,
Yes.
and we're saying that they've not done something that is supposed to be in accordance with the act.
Yes.
But then the act that we're relying on does not actually say that they're supposed to do this. And then they're also responding to say that actually it's the mayor that is supposed to appoint, which is also incorrect. So for the purpose of being in accordance with the law, I have an issue with this recommendation. And I would also refer you to the Local Government Act. So because the councils are a bit different from your regular institutions, they're provided for under the Local Government Act, as well as the Local Government Finance and Audit Act.
Yes.
So the local government, Section 34 of the Local Government Act provides that a council, which is the area council or municipal council or city council as it is, a council shall establish the committees referred to in Part 4 and the following other committees. So Finance Committee, Establishment and Appointment Committee, Development Committee, and such other committees as the council may deem fit. So contrary to what they're saying, that it is the mayor that appoints the Contracts Committee or whichever committee, it's actually the council, which would be the general council, that appoints the members of the committee. Then the Finance and Audit Act at Section 18 deals with procurement for the councils. And it provides that all procurement by a local government authority shall be carried out in accordance with the Gambia Public Procurement Act and the monetary thresholds and regulations prescribed by and under that act. Now, the particular act that was in force at that time has been repealed and replaced by this 2014 act. So their procurement should be in accordance with that act. And 2 says each council shall be a procuring organization for its area. 3, subject to the Gambia Public Procurement Act, the composition of the Contracts Committee of each council include the Chief Executive as chairperson, the Director of Finance, the Director of Planning and Development, 2 elected councillors to be appointed by the council, and 2 members of the public to be nominated by the minister. 4 goes on to tell you the term that they shall serve, and they may be reappointed for further terms. So the 2 acts provide for who appoints the members of the Contracts Committee for councils. So I'm not saying that this is for all institutions, but for councils specifically, I believe that the act provides for who establishes the members of the committee, and it is not the Chief Executive Officer as the accounting officer, and it is also not the mayor.
Council, can you please repeat the provision in the Local Government Act so that you can get it clearly?
Okay, so Section 34 of the Local Government Act 2002 states that the council will establish its committees.
Yes, Council.
Yes, and then Section 18 of the Finance and Audit Act is what deals specifically with procurement for local government councils, and it provides for who should be in the committee. The Procurement Act also states that certain people should be in the committee. They're not a divergence. They basically can be read together. So I'm just saying that I don't believe that they haven't stated what provision in the Act, in the GPPA Act, they're relying on for that non-compliant practices. And also the response of the municipal council is also erroneous on that point.
It's also what?
Erroneous, because they're saying that it's the mayor that appoints the members and it's
So
not,
what
it's
do
the
you mean
council.
Yes, what do you mean when you say it's erroneous?
As in, I do not believe that what their response is correct, because they're saying that according to Local Government Act 2002, the mayor is mandated to establish all the standing committees, of which the contract committee is among, through a resolution from the General Council, and the members were all appointed officially. Now, it is the General Council that would appoint the members of the committee, not the mayor himself.
So in essence, the response given by the council is wrong.
The response, I believe, is wrong, and also I haven't seen the legal basis for that implication.
Okay. Thank you. Just to highlight further, Mr. Tamura, on this issue that council has just raised, if you look at Section 73 of the Procurement Act.
73.
Yes, Section 73. Since we can no longer deal with the old legislation, as soon as it is repealed, we are to deal with the current legislation.
The new act.
Yes, Section 73 has provided that a contracts committee shall be established in every procuring organization in the Gambia, supported by specialized procurement units to be established in the organization. And procuring organization with low levels of procurement may jointly establish a shared procurement unit. So for the whole of Section 73, it has provided for the establishment, and Section 74 also have provided for the composition of the contracts committee.
Yes.
Okay, Council. Yes.
Yes, we will be treating the files for Birkama, but before we go to Birkama Area Council, can I just ask you one question for clarity?
Yes, Council.
Is the procurement unit and the contracts committee the same, one and the same, or are they different?
No, these are different units.
What is the difference?
Going by the act, the membership of the contracts committee is already identified in the act. That's normally the administrative head of the institution, plus the officer in charge of finance, plus the head of the procurement unit. So
the procurement unit probably that the act is referring to is different from the contracts committee?
It's different from the contracts committee, yes.
Let's please proceed to Birkama Area Council.
Is that also different from a finance committee?
No, it's different from the finance committee as far as we are
Concerned.
procurement law is concerned, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now, let's briefly look at the compliance review for the year ended 31st December 2020 for Birkama Area Council. Are you currently, yeah?
2019. Oh. Which year?
2020.
2020.
2019. Do you have the one? Honorable Chairperson, do you have a copy for the 2019, Birkama?
I was just trying to confirm which year.
2020. I believe you have two, 2020 and 2020.
Yes, we have
One.
20 years, yeah.
19, yes.
There is no 2019. What we have is 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you have 2019 for Brikama?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Was that submitted?
You know, you said that I was supposed to submit it, and I said latest Thursday, if you could remember.
Okay. All right.
Do you have the original copy with you
Yes.
currently?
Yes.
Okay. We can.
Can we tender it?
Yes, yes.
Can you please pass
Secretary, can you collect?
over?
And can you find out whether he is able to bring the other documents? Yes.
Documents for?
We requested some documents yesterday.
Yes,
Please,
yes.
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 Give it to him first.
That's for 20. Okay. 19. Right. Okay. Is it the same? Carry on. All right. You also brought along the original copy for is it Kerewan Area Council for the year ended 31st December 2019?
Yes, as requested.
Honorable Chairperson, we apply to tender the compliance review for the year ended 31st December 2019, dated the 10th day of December 2020 for Kerewan Area Council, signed by Mamadou K. Jallo for the Director General in evidence as an exhibit.
The Gambia Public Procurement Authority compliance review for the year ended 31st December 2029, dated the 10th of December 2020, with reference number GPPA /KAC /CAR /VOL /55 part 14/20, signed by Mamadou K. Jallo for Director General, is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/GPPA/KAC/2019.
As the Commission places. Honorable Chairperson, we also have the compliance review for the year ended 31st December 2019, dated the 8th day of December 2020 for Brikama Area Council. It is signed by one Jainaba Jallo for the Director General. We apply to have it tendered in evidence as an exhibit and mark accordingly.
This one is marked. The Gambia Public Procurement Authority compliance review for the year ended 31st December 2019 for Brikama Area Council dated the 8th of December 2020 with reference number GPPA /BAC/CAR/VOL /2026 part 14 stroke 17 in brackets JJ, signed by Diana Bajalo on behalf of the Director General, is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/GPPA/BAC/2019.
As the Commission places.
So you copy this, you deal with this one, this report.
May we apply to have the 2019 review for Brikama Area Council? Now, can you please turn to the 2019 review for Brikama Area Council?
Yes, Council.
I believe you also follow the same review method.
Yes, yes, Council.
Were you able to examine all the procurement files, or did you just sample the files?
Normally we can use any of these two. Well, we can always confirm from the report.
Now, when you interacted with Brikama Area Council for this year, can you advise as to, on page 6, which of the staffs were involved directly in the review process?
Page 6.
Yes, page 6.
Staff directly involved in the review process include the following: Alhaji Jeng, who is the Director of Finance, Ibrahima Sawane, Director of Administration, Modu Jonga, Chief Executive Officer, Sidu Kunta, the Procurement Manager, and Lamin Singate, Council Clerk.
Now, on page 7, you also illustrated a table regarding the methods of procurement, and which were mostly used in, for the year 2019.
Yes.
There were none for open national tender, 2 state tendering 0, request for proposal 0, restricted tendering 0, but there were 292 transactions for single sourcing. Do you see that?
Yes.
And the total value is $7,016,395.68 bututs.
Yes.
For request for quotation, there were 32 transactions, And the value is $1,012,000 is $12,883 is 60 pututs.
Correct.
Now, please turn to page 9 with respect to your non-compliance and findings in relation to the functions of the accounting officer.
Yes.
What were the main non-compliant findings?
Yes, as per the report, the issues highlighted as non-compliant include the fact that the annual procurement plan wasn't signed by the accounting officer.
Yes.
In addition, the accounting officer did not ensure that the procurement organization properly documents procurement proceedings and manage records in accordance with the Act.
The third point?
So the accounting officer did not appoint the inspections committee.
And
the
as
last
required by
point,
the Act?
Yes. And the last point, the accounting officer did not ensure all the procurement transactions were done by the members of the...
So which means for the year 2019, there were procurement transactions being done by individuals outside the SPU, that is the Specialized Procurement Unit.
Yes, as per the report, yes.
So this would have been individuals with probably less knowledge or experience regarding procurement.
Most likely than not.
And what would be the implication?
As stated in the report, generally, looking at all the non-compliance issue, so there could be a compromise in the processes generally. Yeah. Yes. Putting all the non-compliance issues together, it means the processes were compromised to some extent. The accounting officer and in his oversight and control functions, the fact that there is no inspection and receipt committee also goes to say if goods are delivered, there could be a mismatch and that may not be discovered. And the accounting officer did not ensure that the standard inventory stores are in place.
All right. Now I refer you to page 11 of the same report. Are you on page 11?
Yes.
With respect to the functions of the SPU, among other findings, you noted on with respect to the non-compliance findings that they did not maintain a proper filing of the procurement proceedings in line with Section 35(2) of the GPPA amended Act 2018.
Yes.
Yes. So please tell us more about not maintaining proper filing and why there is the need to maintain a proper filing system.
Basically, it's just for safe record keeping, because it is always recommended that you file all your procurement as per procurement methods. We have different methods. So when you are filing, you file them as per the method. This will help in the identification of missing files, misplaced files, etc. Because if you should miss single source, RFQ, open tender together, it's always a problem. So the recommendation is that you always file in accordance or as per procurement methods, so that tracings will be easy and so on.
Now, another key finding, which is the fourth with respect to the numbering, is that many officers were involved in procurement processes. Example, officers at the finance department and admin department. Why is that a concern?
Yeah, it just goes further just to buttress or to validate the initial assertion that members outside the SPU are conducting procurement. So here they were very specific that some of the members came from finance and admin.
In fact, some of the areas where they were found to have made procurement were in relation to air tickets, catering of food, and refreshment for councillors' meetings,
yeah,
which were conducted without being done through the right channel.
Yeah, this is a common practice.
Yes. Now, on page 14, Are you on page 14?
Yes, Council.
With respect to the contracts committee, there were also non-compliance findings.
Yes.
What were those findings?
With respect to the contracts committee, the report indicates that the contracts committee did not ensure that funds were available for procurement requests. There were instances when procurement requests were initiated, goes halfway or to a very great extent, just to discover that funds were not available. And normally, as per the requisition, at the initial stage of procurement, it's very clear that you are asked this question, whether funds are budgeted and available for this particular procurement. And most of the time, if that form is filled, sometimes they indicate yes, most of the time. So if that is done, just at the tail end of the whole process, time is wasted, resources are wasted, just to discover that there are no funds. So I think we thought that wasn't a good practice.
And the second point?
While the review team was informed of the establishment of a contracts committee, there was no evidence that the accounting officer appointed. So this is an issue that the lead counsel will just discuss. What is very clear in the act, that the appointment of the contracts committee, all procuring organizations shall establish contracts committee.
Yes.
As laid down in the guidelines.
Yes.
So I wouldn't want to speculate, but I'll make further confirmation.
Yes.
What actually the guideline says. But the position of the authority has always been that the accounting officer appoints members of the contracts committee. But if you go further, you realize that it has specifically mentioned the secretary to the contracts committee shall be appointed by the accounting officer, who is a member of this thing. But the act is saying as per the guidelines, and I really want to verify this thing so that I don't want to speculate. Yeah, I don't want to speculate. That was a good, brilliant observation from her end. Yeah.
That's all right. Now, the other point is that the contracts committee did not approve this use of single source procurement method.
Yes, because here is very straightforward in the act that any use of a procurement method, especially single source, is mentioned, must be approved by the contracts committee. That's very obvious in the law. And
then the last point?
The contracts committee did not ensure all procurement transactions are filed accordingly. So it's a kind of a repetition of one of the non-compliant issues above.
Now, you turn to page 15.
15, okay.
That is in relation to the Area Council has not established the examination and receipt committee as required by law. Please buttress just briefly on the importance of the receipt and examination committee.
The essence of this committee is really to subject all procurement, especially at delivery stage, to subject them to quality assurance, just to confirm that what was requested is actually what is delivered, because sometimes we have instances of misdeliveries, delivering substandard products as opposed to what was requested. So for quality assurance purposes, it is always recommended that you have a committee that is really responsible. This could be an ad hoc committee established whenever the need arises. Yeah. But this was really absent in the case of Birkama Area Council for the year under review.
On page 16, there is a table with respect to the total number and value of procurement methods that overlapped to page 17.
17, yes.
Where 292 transactions occurred with respect to single sourcing at a total value of $7,016,395 is 68 and request for quotation 32 transactions. The amount is $1,012,883 is 60 butut. Now, there is an analysis of the table. Please read the analysis for us and explain to us why you arrive
Is it
other concern.
Page 18, please. I'm seeing different tables. Is it page 18?
Yes, page 16.
16, okay.
Yes, page 16,
Okay.
which overlapped to page 17.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yes, I've seen the table. What is your question again?
Yes, so your concerns here, basically, were that there was too much of single sourcing procurement. In fact, it was on the high side.
Yes.
The transactions for the year is 292 single sourcing transactions.
Yes.
At an amount of $7,016,395.68 bututs.
Exactly so.
And that was flagged
Yes.
by the report.
Yes.
And then, if I may read, you said an analysis of the procurements under various procurement methods indicate that most of the PO's procurement, which constitute 90.12%, was carried out through single source.
Yes.
And some of which has not been approved by the contracts committee, which is in line with the section 949.
Yes.
Yes.
Basically, this is a common trend if you are really observant. So here, the analysis indicates that most of the transaction, especially per number, is conducted by the use of single source, and it represented 87.39%, which is of course huge in terms of number.
Yes.
But going further,
Yes.
you'll come to realize that there's another table
Yes.
that indicates clearly some of these single source transactions were above the
Yes.
threshold. That's what the table below has come to explain further.
Exactly.
Yes, so it's a concern, a common trend. That's why I said in the morning that the most commonly used procurement method, as far as the council are concerned, is the request for quotation and the single source. The table below shows us exactly the transactions on a single source whose value were above the threshold for single source, but they decided to go in for single source, never sought prior approval. So which is of course a violation.
Yes, the table will show that the first transaction was, which you've sampled here, was a toner
Yeah, a toner.
at an amount of $12,075.
Yes.
The supplier is Modern Stationery Store.
Stores, exactly.
The second is spare parts. Amount is $60,000.
Exactly.
The supplier, Adamat Jam, Sal and Sons Company.
Company, exactly.
The third, clearing of dump site,
Yes.
$65,000, Camera and Sons.
Exactly.
Fuel at the amount of $75,790, 20 bututs, Petrogas.
Petrogas, yes.
Printing of shirts for the $7,375 from CB Art Printing.
Printing, yes.
Office provisions, $55,512.
Yes.
B&S Trading.
Yes.
Samsung Galaxy J4 for $12,000
Yes.
from Global Electronics.
Yes.
Office provisions, $14,275 from Sadhguru Mini Market.
Yes.
Staff IDs amount to $11,000.
Yes.
Master Planner Productions. Toner, $34,000 Global Electronics.
Exactly.
And there was the hiring of wheel loader for $60,000 from PK Enterprise. Spare parts for $75,000 from Malik Njai. HP laptop for $31,000 KGN.
Yes.
Now you have 7 implications in relation to these sets of procurement transactions being single sourced, which were above the threshold,
Yes.
and which probably where there was no prior approval.
Yes. Here, yesterday I said we have what we call framework agreements.
Yes.
If you look at this procurement, some of them could have been done through framework agreement.
Yes.
But I said initially, normally for framework agreement, normally you have to first subject it to competition, especially this routine item, just say monthly provisions.
Yes.
Understand? But however, this was not done, and they decided to single source this thing, and it has its implications. Of course, as per the report here, it's difficult to even ascertain where the value for money was obtained in these transactions. and also how were these suppliers, economic operators identified. It was a cause for concern, which leads to potential conflict of interest. So a fair opportunity to all prospective suppliers, because this was a routine thing. And according to the report here, there was a kind of a hand-picking of suppliers to single source.
What do you mean when you said, with respect to the third point,
yes,
that possible price fixing, yes, by the hand-picked suppliers?
Yes. As the report indicates, because what is suggested here, there is no internal database.
Yes.
Normally, if there is an internal database and you want to conduct this procurement, you should subject those people to competition.
Yes.
But the fact that you are identifying and there is no identification procedure, how do you arrive at identifying a particular supplier? So the logical conclusion would be probably these are suppliers that were handpicked. That's what the report suggests.
And how about when you said on the fourth point that there is a potential conflict of interest?
Yes. How do you identify the suppliers?
Yes, please proceed.
Yes. Like, how do you identify the suppliers? Because the procurement law make provision for supplier identification. If that is absent, the question is, how do you identify these suppliers? Are these suppliers known to you? Where are they in your database? Because the report does not suggest that they have a database where these suppliers are extracted from. So yes, potentially, these are just red flags in procurement. And normally when it happens, if you want to go to real procurement auditing, you can still dig further.
In fact, yes. In fact, you said, do you raise the issues of equal opportunities?
Yes. Fair opportunity to all prospective. Transparency? Yes.
And with respect to, let me just give an example of one of the procured item in 22nd day of March 2019. That is with respect to Samsung Galaxy J4.
Okay.
So if you turn to page 38, where you normally have your specific findings,
38,
on
yes,
page 38, you will see that the category is goods, of course.
Yes.
The awarded contract is global electronics.
Yes.
The procurement method is single source.
Yes.
But there was a host of non-compliance findings.
Issues, yes.
The first one being that the quotation was not opened in a register of Form 003 as stipulated in the Act.
Yes.
The second is the procured item was not specified on the procurement plan. So which means it was not in fact in the procurement plan.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Exactly.
And the third point is?
There was no delivery notes.
Yes.
Yes.
We spoke about the issues regarding delivery receipts.
Yes.
That if you purchase an item or goods or services,
yes,
of whatever kind,
yes,
but then if there are no delivery notes, for example, to ascertain that, in fact, what you have purchased, you have really received it.
Was actually delivered.
Yes.
So that evidence was absent.
And what was the next?
There was no inspection committee, which is a common thing.
The next after that?
Yes, that's the purchase order.
Yes.
Was not raised. So that goes to bring about issues where actually there was a contract between the two parties and there was no, basically these were the issues.
Yes.
Yes.
So please turn to page 19.
Back. Page 19, yes, Council.
Yes. With respect to records keeping of the procurement activities.
Yes.
Did the Brikama Area Council do a good job in relation to keeping records with respect to their procurement activities?
The report suggests the contrary.
Yes?
Yes,
Please.
because there was no comprehensive record keeping of files as per procurement methods as initially indicated, and Some supporting documents were also not seen, could not be traced, which includes, of course, delivery notes. So the issue of...
So let me take you through this. Probably it may be our last discussion for today.
Okay.
I see that it's almost 1 minute to 4, Madam Chair, according to my watch. Now, with respect to records keeping, this is very integral. It's very important.
Indeed.
Is it not?
Very important.
And now, when it comes to Brikama elections for the year under review, it appears, in fact, it is the case that there were so many concerns regarding how they keep records of their procurement activities.
Yes.
Lots of so many instances where, in fact, there were about more than 292 procurement transactions with respect to single sourcing, 32 for request for quotation.
Yes.
So altogether, 324 transactions.
Yes.
But then the record keeping we have is extremely poor.
Poor, yes.
Yes, because if you look at the amount for just with respect to the post review
Yes.
alone,
Yes.
is more than $8 million.
Exactly.
But then there were in fact, it would be an understatement to say there is no sufficient records, because if I have to start, you said that the PO did not maintain a comprehensive and individual file for all procurement activities.
Yes.
However, the entire procurement files reviewed are incomplete, and therefore it violates the Act.
Yes.
The second point is there are no delivery notes
Yes.
and receipt attached, and in some instances, no goods received notes in some procurement files.
Yes.
So is that to say that there is no evidence of, in fact, delivery?
Exactly.
The other point would be that the files are not marked with relevant procurement references and sequential codification.
Yes.
The fourth is no control mechanism for fuel.
Yes.
What do you mean when you say no control mechanism for fuel?
Yeah, it was an issue. Normally, as part of record keeping, as part of procurement record keeping, we expect that any transaction should have a trail, should have an audit trail. So therefore, we have seen procurements of fuel, but it was even difficult to ascertain the quantity of fuel, the beneficiary of this fuel, and what we understood was there was no actually framework agreement with any fuel dealer for the consistent sourcing of fuel from some of these suppliers. So there was no trail. It was very difficult to even establish. The fuel log was absent, so it was very difficult to ascertain fuel issues. Yes. How are fuel coming? How are fuel spent? Where are they going? The quantity. It was difficult. So in essence, there was no internal control mechanism as far as fuel is concerned.
And the next point with respect to the non-compliance findings?
Yes, about the purchase ledger.
Yes.
Yes. Normally, these are all it's a kind of a document where all transactions, especially procurement transactions, should be captured. So that's why most of the time, when files are missing, we request for the ledger.
Yes.
Because every transaction should be captured in the ledger. But this request was also made, and it could not be availed to the reviewers.
In fact, you have some situations where the files are missing or incomplete, and yet still you can't even access or have or see the ledgers. Yes. to back that up.
The ledger would have helped us.
Yes.
To discover missing files. But when the ledger itself is missing or is not prevailed to the auditors, it was a concern. But however, I just want to make one clarity here, a general clarity regarding record keeping in terms of procurement.
Yes.
There are two issues that it compromises. Because if there are no proper records, it means it is compromising accountability.
Yes.
Who is held responsible for what? Because you cannot have trails of exactly. One is also compromising transparency.
Yes.
So this was a concern. So that's why we are very concerned about record keeping.
Thank you. Well, you have the last 2 points, that no proof that all items claimed to have been procured are delivered.
Exactly.
And the other one is no delivery notes to ascertain whether the end users received the items or not for spare parts.
Exactly.
Honorable Chairperson, this would probably be a convenient point. If the commissioners have any questions, we have an application after your questions.
Any questions? Yes, Council, I believe it's a convenient point to stop. But before we do so, I have been informed by the registrar that Mr. Tambura is scheduled for a medical appointment. We will have Mr. Ibrahim Asanyang, the Director of Procurement Policy and Operations at the GPPA, to come in on Monday.
Very well.
So, Mr. Tambura, thank you so much. You are released, and we wish you all the best for your trip, for your medical treatment.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We may rise.